Oh, hey guys, welcome back to the Kool Aid Podcast. Welcome back to another video. Huge game today. Barcelona versus Sevilla. We actually got some much needed 3 points. But guys, before we get started on the match reaction, make sure to go over on Twitter. If you guys want to join and give your thoughts, comments, discussion, or whatever, or you guys want to also discuss the match, go to my Twitter page at Kool Aid Podcast. You'll be able to go over there. Just click on the link and then you'll be able to join. But guys, before we get started on the match reaction, make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Everything is at Kool Aid Podcast. All the links are posted down below in the description. But guys, as I mentioned, today we needed some much needed 3 points. And we dropped points in midweek against Mallorca, and with Girona and Real Madrid playing each other in this weekend, it was a perfect opportunity, to get the win and put on some pressure on both teams, knowing that, as you guys can see, if one of them drop points, that would mean that Barcelona is leading La Liga. But Barcelona, they actually started a little bit different with their starting lineup. You had Ter Stegen in goal, Balde, Christensen, Kunde, and Cancelo in the back line. Pretty standard. Araujo isn't back in the starting lineup. He is being rested. We do have to remember that Araujo, he just came from a major injury that basically set him off the pitch for a considerable amount of time. And so Christensen was back in the defense as well as Kunde, two players who were rested in midweek against Mallorca. But in the midfield, this is actually where Xavi decided to opt for something different. He went with two midfielders and four attackers. As you can see, he started Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, and Felix. He had Rafinha in that number 10 role, Gundogan as like the deep holding midfielder instead of Romeo, which I actually think turned out pretty well. Just Rafinha, he did go off injured around the 37th minute mark. He pulled up a hamstring injury, and as it's looking right now, early reports they are saying that he's going to be out for roughly about a month or so. He's going to be out for about a month. Hopefully, it isn't too long because hamstring injuries, they do tend to be longer injuries. And looking at our front line, we only have four players available. You have Joao Felix, Lewandowski, Lamine Yamal, and Ferran Torres. Other than that, you don't have many options. But the player who actually came on to replace Rafinha was actually Fermin Lopez, who I think had a phenomenal game. He was everywhere. He was creating some very dangerous opportunities, and he even recovered the ball and showing that defensive and high work rate. But it's funny enough, one of our clearest chances actually came through Fermin Lopez. Actually, it was a Lamine Yamal cross. Who Another player who had a fantastic game. He gave a beautiful cross to Fermin Lopez. Just he wasn't able to get some good power behind the shot. He basically scuffed it, and it went straight into the goalkeeper. But overall, I thought it was, a decent performance from Barcelona. It wasn't the best, but we did get the job done. We got the 3 points, and that is what mattered. But talking about each player individually, I thought Ter Stegen, he did all right. He didn't make any mistakes, like the game against Mallorca where he gave away the first goal. Just there was one instance in which Gavi basically had like a goal line clearance, and I feel like if it wasn't for Gavi, Ter Stegen would have been beaten in that corner. I don't know. He was near the area. You could say that he was prepared to save that. Just I don't know, and I'd rather be safe than sorry. And I'm glad that Gavi was there. Bold. I think overall on the defense, I think pretty standard. I think everyone had a pretty good game. The outstanding performers, so definitely I would say Christensen and Kunde, once again just showing like these two guys are just class. They just ooze class in that saga of the defense. In the midfield, Gavi, guys, we have to talk about Gavi. Gavi was absolutely everywhere yesterday. He was defending, pressing, attacking. It's crazy to think a kid this young has that much energy and just like is absolutely over the pitch. I did mention how he was able to block that goal line clearance, but it wasn't only that goal line clearance. He was there recovering balls, pressing extremely well, and he created some very dangerous opportunities. And he even gave a header to Ferran Torres, who late in the game could have made it 2-0. but unfortunately, due to poor finishing, we were not able to amplify that score line. But fantastic performance from Gavi. Joao Felix, I think he had a good game. It wasn't brilliant from him. You know, he did have the first clear opportunity of the game. Just he put way too much power into the shot, and he basically hit the crossbar very early into the game. But he came off around the 70th minute mark for Ferran Torres and Lewandowski. As the match rating says, eh, he didn't have a brilliant game. He had some good opportunities to make it 2-0, 3-0, just poor finishing. And that's the story of the night. And it's funny because the person who actually got the goal was actually Sergio Ramos. It was an own goal from Ramos that gave us the victory. I know Madrid fans were actually expecting and wanting a Real Madrid goal. I know I actually Sergio Ramos goal, but it's funny how it turned out. It was an own goal instead of a goal against Barcelona. But as I mentioned, Barcelona they couldn't, get the goal. It was due to a Ferran Torres cross and then Lamine Yamal header in which the ball bounced off of Ramos and then went into the back of the net. But the substitutes who came on were Fermin Lopez, who had, as I said, had a brilliant game. Ferran Torres, who in this time wasn't able to have that same impact as he does, and Romeo, who came on in the 82nd minute mark, just to basically, finish off the game and make Barcelona more sound defensively. But my match ratings of the overall game, I would give it maybe like a 7 right there, 7.5. You could say, nah, I'm not gonna give it an 8 because I don't think that Barcelona they played that well to deserve that match rating. But it was a solid game from the club. But guys, as I said, if you guys want to join in and give your thoughts about the game, just go on my Twitter page at Kool Podcast and make sure to click the link. But now let's go see what social media is saying, and let's see some quotes right after the match. But these are some quotes from Ter Stegen. I talked with him about the chance he had at Rakitic. I told him what a shot. It was hard to see the ball, and this was actually a mistake from Ter Stegen because Ter Stegen gave the ball. No, it wasn't from Ter Stegen. It was actually from Rafinha. Ter Stegen gave the ball to Rafinha in the middle of the pitch. A poor touch from Rafinha led to a Rakitic shot, but luckily he was able to block that. We had chances to score, but fatigue set in, and we found a very lucky goal. We are very satisfied with the 3 points, and that's the main takeaway from this game. Our play wasn't brilliant. We had chances to score. We weren't clinical in front of goal, but we did get the 3 points, and that's the most important thing because Girona and Real Madrid are playing tomorrow, and Real Madrid is going away to Girona, a place where they did lose last year 4-2 with a hat trick from Castellano, I believe. And so it's very possible that they could drop points. Ter Stegen and I were teammates for 8 years. There's constant communication between their family. He's a friend for life, and that's nice to see. We needed this win, and we're very happy. And that's the takeaway. Just sometimes you don't perform brilliant, but the most important thing is that you got the win. And we have to talk about that Fermin Lopez game because Fermin Lopez deserves more game time for Barcelona. And I couldn't agree more. Fermin Lopez had a phenomenal game. And I definitely think that he's going to be having more game time, especially now that you have Pedri, Frankie de Jong, and Rafinha all out injured. That definitely means that he's going to be getting some minutes from the club, from Xavi basically. But some more quotes and some more thoughts. Fermin Lopez was easily my man of the match tonight. No one could have predicted his emergence onto the scene. He's already exceeded all expectations and more just by being here, let alone serving a standout player. Football, eh? And that's so funny. And that just shows, hey, what the trust in La Masia can give you. Because every single year, La Masia is churning out some very key players that are basically helping the club when we desperately need it. At first, it was Gavi. Then it was Balde. I know Pedri, he's not a La Masia player, but you still have that. And now you have Fermin Lopez, players who are becoming key in the squad. But as you guys can see, some more injury news on the Rafinha injury. Rafinha will be out for at least until the end of the international break. In principle, he should be available for a Clásico on the 28th of October. And that means he's basically going to be missing about a month of action. But Fermin Lopez showing up to this university after his master class. He had a phenomenal game. Fermin Lopez seems like a great player to me. In my humble opinion, he was Barcelona's best player tonight. I think he was Barcelona's best player alongside Gavi. I thought both of them were absolutely fantastic in the midfield. And it's crazy to think that these are two teenagers were making such an impact at the club. But rating Joao Cancelo's performance out of 10, I would definitely maybe give it a 7, so 7.5 around there. He did give Joao Felix a very key chance. He was very good in the attack. Just he wasn't able to get that assist or goal in which he made the difference. And guys, as you guys are going and looking, everyone is going crazy over Fermin Lopez. He's been absolutely phenomenal. He is trending on social media at the moment. Barca's best player in the second half, 20-year-old Fermin Lopez and 16-year-old Lamine Yamal. Yeah, as you guys can see, just everywhere. He was not a starter in the youth team, so he agreed to go on loan because he had no place in the team, and now he stands out in the Barca's first team. Fermin Lopez was patient and prioritized his training before being a star. The reward finally arrived. And these are some stats um, talking about Fermin Lopez, an absolutely brilliant player. And it definitely seems like he's going to be getting some much needed game time in the future. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Fermin has not played a lot, but he has shown his influence on the pitch. That's something that we're definitely going to be excited about. But guys, let me know your thoughts on the game. As you can see, everyone is like raving about Fermin Lopez, and as they should, with warranty guaranteed. He played a phenomenal game against Sevilla, and that's the main takeaway. He was absolutely brilliant. It's a shame that Rafinha did get injured, but we got 3 points. We are putting on some pressure on Girona and Real Madrid, and we keep on moving, and we move on to next week against Porto in the Champions League. But guys, let me know your thoughts on the game. Did you guys enjoy? Who was your man of the match rating? And what was the rating of the game? But guys, as always, remember, like,